Hi guys, welcome back to our channel. Today we're going to be flipping through my 2022 bullet journal from start to finish to show you how I used my bullet journal throughout the year, and also to show you some of the spreads that I found particularly helpful, both as a first-time mum to a now 11-month-old and also as a Christian, spreads that have helped me to grow in my faith. So this is my 2022 bullet journal. I used an A5 dotted Dingbats notebook for the 4th year in a row. And this spread here is my 2022 in colour spread. So this is a spread I do at the beginning of my bullet journal every year to track my mood throughout the year and to track any trends, and I just think it looks really cool by the end of the year. This next spread is my 2022 overview, so I've got all the calendars throughout the year, and I've mostly just used this for birthdays and a couple of other key dates like my maternity leave and due date. So this is my 2022 goals spread, again a spread I have every year to track my goals. So for my use a prayer journal goal and my study the Bible goal, I did these things but I didn't particularly track them very well. We have prepare for a baby, which I did tick off. Friends and relationships, we've got a few there but not many ticked off. Just different things popped up throughout the year that made some of these more difficult. We've got my certificate in fundraising, which is completed. My write 3 sermons, I've done 2 by the time I filmed this, but I had 1 more left to do. For my reading goal, I didn't want to reach 50, but we got to about 13 or so not quite there. Then for my 2 blogs a month, we did okay through kind of May to August, and then it went a bit downhill, but oh well. And then we have my subscriber goal, which was to get to 1,000, and I got to 550. I did actually hit 600 by the end of the year, but not by the time I had recorded this. Then we've got Finish BSL course, which I did not do very well at, and Running Post Baby, which again had some obstacles. But overall, I really love this spread to kind of track my progress towards my goals throughout the year. This is my 22 in 2022 spread, which was originally going to be a challenge where I put things in and then marked off when I completed them, and it was meant to be kind of big milestones with Georgia. But in the end, I did it slightly differently because I didn't come up with those headings before the year started. So I just added in things as I wanted to write them down. So we've got like when she was born, and we've got when we went to a farm for the first time, and her first Easter, and things like that. Next we have my Bible reading and Bible study spreads. As you can see, I didn't use these particularly well, but I did enjoy this Bible reading spread, so I'm going to keep that in my 2023 bullet journal. The Bible study one just didn't really work for me particularly this year. I need to find a new way of doing that. If you've got any recommendations, let me know in the comments. So this is my prayer requests spread. I've blocked a couple of people out just for privacy, but I basically have these 8 different boxes that represent different areas that I wanted to include for prayer requests. So I just note down prayer requests and things that I want to pray for in each of these boxes, and then can come back to this spread and pray for those things. Next we have 1 year of Georgia. So this spread was a bit different to how I expected, but it's basically just a record of what Georgia was doing and what she was like through each month of this first year. Again, I need to finish it off in November and December. And then we have my reading tracker. So I clearly didn't use the full 2 spreads, but I read some books and I noted them down in here. So hopefully we'll get back into reading a bit more in 2023, but that's what that looked like. And because of that, these spreads look a bit kind of empty. My Around the World tracker, you can see properly in my 2023 bullet journal setup, which is on my channel, but it's a bit bare. And then my 25 before 25, yeah, I've kind of failed that. I turned 25 at the end of January, and I have not achieved that. Next up we have my wish list spread, which was really useful throughout this year to just note down things that I wanted or needed, whether for me or for Georgia or for the house, and just keep a list of them here. Then we've got my gift card tracker, which is one that I really enjoy having and find really useful to make sure I'm using my gift cards. Then we have my park run tracker, which is very empty because I only did 1 park run in the whole year. Then we also have my Bible verses of the year spread, which was a good idea when I came up with it. It just didn't kind of do what I wanted it to do, which was to be able to write down Bible verses that particularly stood out to me at different parts of the year. And I think that was just because they didn't necessarily like stand out at the time. It's only looking back that they stand out. So maybe I'll add to it now the year is over, but it just kind of didn't work as I was going through the year. These next two spreads are spreads that I created after I'd done my initial setup, so you won't have seen these in last year's setup. But we have my Regio shelf spread where I listed out all of my physical owned TBR and then was planning to kind of tick off as I read them to encourage me to read the books I already owned. Then we have my fundraising course spread, which helped keep me on track for the modules I needed to study and the assignments I needed to do for my course. Then we go into my January monthly spread, and this is the layout that I use for pretty much all of my months this year. And I just have a list of kind of key events and then my tasks. And then in this one I had my packing list for my hospital bag, because that's what I was doing in January. Then we have my basic kind of week layout. At the beginning of the year I really enjoyed this kind of scheduling layout, and it really helped me to just plan out my days and kind of fill my time in this way. Then we have a big baby list and a big baby countdown as well. So these were things that I needed to get done or buy before baby came. You can see not a lot are actually kind of ticked off, but that's because Georgia arrived a bit early. We did actually get all of those things done before she arrived. Then we go through a few more weekly spreads. And we get to February. So again, I've got the same setup, but you'll see that there are no weekly spreads in February because that's when Georgia was born. So we skip straight to March for the same kind of layout. But you'll see I've changed my weekly layout to a running task list throughout the week, where I just write down everything that needs to happen and tick it off as I get there. You'll see that these are very bare in the way of events because I wasn't doing very much in this first kind of 2 or 3 months after having a baby. So we get to April, no weekly spreads in April again, but we go straight to May and again have the same layout, not a very long list for May, and then we go and we continue this same weekly layout. Again here you can see that I'm not getting very much done. I think this was around the time when I had COVID, which wasn't very fun. Then we get into June and you can see same layout, but I've added in my summer TBR and some books I wanted to read. I didn't do very well at that list, but it was nice to add it in. And you can see this is when I kind of get a bit busier. By this point I am back at work, so I'm kind of back into the normal routine of things. So we've got a few more events on in the evenings and just a few more things to get done during the week. And this spread layout really did work quite well for me. It allowed me to just have a long list of things I needed to get done and then decide during the week when they actually got done. I didn't have to stick to, oh, this thing's going to get done on Monday. It just got done when it got done, which is a lot more realistic when you've got a young baby. Then we get to August, and here I kind of added in a weekly focus just to kind of make sure I was getting to some of the bigger tasks I needed to throughout the month. So that kind of helped and kind of didn't in different ways, just because different things came up throughout the month that changed those focuses a little bit. So we carry on exactly the same layout through all of this because it was just really working really well for me and was really helping me to get things done. In September, you'll see same layout, but I've got these 30-day trackers for a couple of tasks I wanted to build into habits. So we've got kind of an evening routine, evening tidy up, and a morning routine as well, and they really helped me to kind of just get into some slightly new routines that really helped me a lot. And this is where we changed the weekly layout for the first time since having Georgia. So this is where I split it into boxes for each day. So this was the point where I was feeling like I needed more of a to-do list for each day rather than for the whole week. So I changed over to this layout instead, which is one I have done before, and it works really nicely for me. And as you'll see, I carry this on throughout the end of the year. But it allows me to have a to-do list for every day and a to-do list for kind of any time during the week is the 8th box. And then we come to the birthday and Christmas spread. So I have quite a few people that have birthdays in November and December, And then obviously Christmas, so I was planning out kind of present ideas for them, what I wanted to buy them, and just different ideas to kind of make sure I was as organised as possible for Christmas. So I've got a few pages of those Christmas list ideas. And then we have a present planning spread. So I have a list of the things that I've ordered and need to buy, and then we tick for ordered, arrived, wrapped and gifted, or given to someone. And then I just tick off when I've done those things. Again, I recorded this before Christmas, so those aren't all ticked off. And then we have a big Christmas to-do list where I wrote down everything that I needed to get done before Christmas, because it was getting to kind of the end of November and I was getting a bit overwhelmed by the idea of all the things that needed to be done before Christmas. So I wrote them all down to make it a bit more manageable. So then we've got the end of the November and then my December weekly spreads all the way up until Christmas. Again, following the same pattern of these 8 boxes. This did just work really well for me right up until the end of the year. And as you can see, I did stop at Christmas because I wasn't really going to use my bullet journal between Christmas and New Year because I was away staying with family. So I don't tend to use a bullet journal when I'm on holiday in that kind of way because plans just change. I don't really have tasks that I need to get done, so I don't feel the need to use my bullet journal then. So that is my 2022 bullet journal flip through. You can see all the spreads that I've used this year and how useful my bullet journal has been for me as both a new mum and those spreads that have helped me to grow in my faith. So let's just have a look again at these opening pages in my bullet journal. I really love just having a look at these spreads all, well, nearly filled in, and how nice they look by the end of the year. But we hope that you've enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Maybe it's given you some ideas for spreads that you can include in your bullet journal. If you have enjoyed this video, do give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to see more videos from me and Arnold. If you'd like to see our 2023 bullet journal setup, do click on this video right here. And we will see you very soon for a new video. Bye!